What's up, guys? Commish AceCoach704, League of Legends. Week 17, we're going to take a look at how the playoffs will most likely shape up based on remaining games and current standings right now. So, as the tradition is, we're going to go with the music. A little more sports centric this time. I got fussed at over my Sonic 3 music last time. You guys can figure that out pretty quickly. Alright. So here we go. Let's take a look at the AFC East. New England Patriots are going to be the AFC East champions with 11-5 record. Dolphins at 10-6 got a good shot of getting in at the playoffs as a wild card. Bills and Jets are out of it right now. We're getting ready to work on next season. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs, best record in the league at 15-1. They'll have a first round bye. Oakland Raiders at 11-4 should get a wild card. Broncos and Chargers are out of it. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers 12-3, got one game remaining, but they will be in the playoffs. Ravens, Browns, and Bengals are all out of it. AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars, 12-3 record. They're actually playing the Colts right now as we speak. So, Chiefs will have a first round bye, number 1 seed in the AFC. Number 2 seed in the second bye is going to come down to the Steelers and the Jaguars. The Steelers have to play the Bengals, who will probably be tanking for a draft pick, knowing the Bengals. And like I said, the Jags and Colts are playing right now. So if both those teams win, they're going to have identical 9-3 records in the conference when it comes down to tiebreakers. I don't know if the Steelers and the Jaguars played this season. We'll take a look real quick just to see. See if we can get an idea. But if they did not play this season, then who knows with Madden. Professional tiebreaker would say it would come down to point differentials. Now, whether or not Madden goes that deep, I really don't know. It'll be real interesting to see how that would come out. So, taking a look at the schedule, it does not look like the Steelers and Jaguars played. So now, that number 2 seed in the bye, if both teams win or if they both lose, if they end up tied, it's going to come down to pretty much a coin flip between who's going to get the bye and then who's going to host a wild card game in the first round between those two teams. Oakland Raiders and Miami Dolphins will be wild cards. Based on records, Oakland Raiders would be the number 5 seed out of the AFC, and the Miami Dolphins would be the number 6 seed. So the Patriots are a 4 seed, so they would play the Raiders in a first round game that the Patriots would host. The Dolphins would go on the road against either the Steelers or the Jaguars in the first round, depending on who does not get that bye in the AFC. AFC playoff picture, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. NFC is another story. So let's take a look at the NFC East. You got the New York Giants. They'll be, let's see, they play the, who do they play this week? They play the Redskins. Oh, okay, the Giants will get that win because of Redskins concession. We'll talk about that in another video. Behind them, the Eagles at 11-5 will be one of the wild cards. They should be the number 5 seed out of the AFC in the NFC. Excuse me. Dallas Cowboys might have a shot at the wild card at 9-7. We'll have to take a look. NFC West, Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers are in that division. They both have a shot to win it. Seahawks at 10-6, Niners at 9-6. They do have to play their game this week against the Rams. And that's no gimme. The Rams have been playing better this year. So if the 49ers win that game, they will win the division based off a better conference record at 8-4. Seahawks will be 7-5 in the conference. So when it comes down to tiebreakers like that, they split in the regular season. So it comes down to conference record. So if the 49ers win, they win a division. If the 49ers win the division, the Seahawks have a shot at the second wild card. We'll go into that in a minute. Cardinals at 8-7. Still somewhat of a shot at a wild card. We'll go into wild card scenarios. It's going to take a minute to break down. So just bear with me. NFC North, the Chicago Bears have pretty much locked that division up at 11-4. They still do have to play the Vikings this week. That would affect a possible number 2 seed and a bye out of the conference. Packers at 9-6 still have a shot at a wild card. Vikings and Lions are out of it. Redskins and Rams are also out of it in their respective divisions as well. NFC South, Carolina Panthers, yours truly at 12-4, winning division, have a shot at a number 2 seed and a bye. Depends on what happens in the Bears-Vikings game. They'll still be identical conference records if the Bears win that game. So, point differential is supposed to be the difference maker, just like I said in the AFC with the Jags and the Steelers. Same case here. Could come down to pretty much whoever Madden decides will win it between the Bears and the Panthers. But whoever does not get the bye will be the number 3 seed in the NFC and host a wild card game. So what we know for sure, the Giants are the number 1 seed. The Eagles will be in the playoffs as a number 5 seed and go on the road in the wild card. Now, who are they going to play? That's still up in the air right now. They would most likely play the number 4 seed, which would be the NFC West winner between the Seahawks and the 49ers. Now, the 49ers can make this a lot easier if they just lose. Okay, so if they win, 49ers will win the NFC West and will host the Eagles in a wild card playoff game next advance. If the 49ers lose, the Seahawks win the NFC West and would host the Eagles in a wild card game next week. Alright, so here's your wild card scenarios. So hang in there. If the 49ers win, they win the NFC West. That means the Seahawks are 10-6 now and in a wild card position. Green Bay at 9-6 would then still have a shot. Green Bay goes on the road to play Detroit. So Green Bay has to win that game in order to have a shot at the wild card. So what happens now? Green Bay is really pulling for San Francisco to lose. Because if San Francisco loses and Green Bay wins, Green Bay's in the playoffs by a better record. Okay? Now, if you're Arizona, if you're Dallas, the Falcons have pretty much conceded they're not playing their last game. So if you're Arizona, if you're Dallas, you're pulling for this. You're pulling for the 49ers to lose. You're pulling for the Packers to lose. Because then that's going to create a whole mess of 9-7 teams. Because Arizona would win at 9-7. The Cowboys are 9-7. 49ers would be 9-7. And then the Green Bay Packers would be 9-7. So then you have 4 teams vying for one final wild card spot in the NFC. I'm not going to go through the multitude of scenarios there. But basically, at that point, you're starting to look at conference records. And in conference records, it would come down to the Cowboys and 49ers to decide who would get it if all 4 of those teams are at 9-7. So really, the 49ers are playing a big role in this, and the Packers are playing a big role as to who gets the second wild card out of the NFC. We know the Giants are in. We know the Eagles are in. We know the Bears are in. We know the Panthers are in. Seahawks and 49ers will be in. And it could be both teams in, depending on if the 49ers win or not. So there's still a lot in the air looking at these playoff scenarios. So that's what we're looking at right now in this final week of the season. A lot going on there, I tell you, man. AFC's pretty much locked up. Let me go through it one more time. Kansas City's number 1 seed. Either Pittsburgh or Jacksonville will be 2 or 3 seeds, depending on how tiebreakers fall out in those games, depending on who wins. New England Patriots are the 4th seed. Oakland Raiders are the 5 seed. Miami Dolphins are the 6th seed. AFC. That's simple. NFC. New York Giants, number 1 seed. Either the Panthers or the Bears will be 2 and 3 seeds. Number 4 seed can be the Seahawks or the 49ers, depending on who wins the NFC West. Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs, the number 5 seed. 6th seed, you got a multitude of possibilities. Cowboys, 49ers or Seahawks, Cardinals, Green Bay Packers are all in it, in the mix for that number 6 seed in the final spot in the NFC playoffs. So if your name is mentioned in any of those scenarios, you need to make sure you play your game. Because if you get subject to a sim and you lose, ain't nothing I can do about it, man. We got some guys that are not in the playoffs electing not to play these games, or scheduling conflicts. You know, it's close to the holiday, it happens. So do the best you can. Make sure you have screenshots, text or DM evidence if you need an auto or a sim win. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to look at this sim win policy going into next season. Because some guys here have got a lot of sim wins, and some of those sim wins are why they're in the playoffs. And I believe in earning it on the field. That's just how I feel about it. So we're going to look at it. I'm not saying if something's going to change or not, but we're going to look at that sim win policy. And there may be a change to that going into next season. But real quick, off season, the schedule has been posted on Daddy Leagues on the homepage. I will tell you now, the draft will be Tuesday, December 1st at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? If you haven't done a draft before with us, the first round, I'll give you the time you need. After the first round, we're going 1 minute a pick. If your pick is not in by that 1 minute, I'm going to the next pick. That's to keep it moving. You should do, if you haven't done your draft stuff, you hadn't scouted, you'll get a chance in the off season. Scouting comes back around. Get your draft board together, get your watch list together. Have your picks ready to go, man. Don't go somewhere and come back and be mad that you missed your pick. If you can't make the draft, trade your picks for players. Or trade them for picks next year when you'll make the draft. Don't just let the computer draft for you. Sometimes the computer will look up and pick a good guy. But then sometimes it'll draft you a quarterback when you already got 4 on your roster. Who knows? Who knows what the computer thinks? It's dumb as hell. That's why it's a computer. So be smart with that, man. Free agency. Some guys gave outrageous contracts last year. If you're new and you got some messed up contracts, I'll work with you within reason. But be smart on your contracts, guys. If you don't know how to do something or you want some help, I'll be glad to help you. I've always said, I'm not about winning. I just want to make a good experience for everybody. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. We'll do an off-season video once we get into it, talking about, you know, free agency and all that stuff like we did last year. But that's the playoffs, man. If you're not in it, don't be discouraged. Off-season's right around the corner. You can really turn your team around in the off season if you're active and you participate. You hit free agency, you do good scouting, you have a good draft, and then you're good to go. Alright? If you got any questions, you got any issues, I'm always available. Hit me up, DM me, text me. You guys do it all the time of night anyway. So just keep doing it. I don't get mad about that. And I'll get to it as soon as I can. I appreciate you all being here. You guys make this a great league. And, you know, we're going to keep bringing you things to set the league apart from the other leagues out here that just, they don't do this kind of stuff because they don't care like we do. All right, guys. I appreciate your time. Best of luck in the playoffs. And keep pounding. Go Panthers.